matter what people want you to believe.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alana here. Welcome back to 3 Degrees of Love Divination. I am Love. So I just wanted to jump on real quick. Happy Samhain. Happy Halloween. And happy All Saints Day, as today is All Saints Day as I'm filming this right now. Probably not when you're gonna see it necessarily, but yeah. And if you remember, as I've been saying, and in some of my most recent videos, I speak about this being a karmic year, and with the veil thinning and with us moving into the age of Aquarius, you know, doing that shadow work is so important for change, for healing, for humanity's evolution. Ultimately, and you know, the importance of raising our vibrations. And part of why I wanted to really jump on here is because, well, besides the cards here, I'll just quickly go through them. We have 12, the coyote. And the coyote is known as the trickster. It represents the trickster energy. And with it being number 12, you know, from the major arcana, that's known as the hangman and change in perspective, right? And that sort of understanding. We have 30, lightning, as I talk about it being a karmic year and what that means. As the saying goes, well, karma is reflective, right? So with the understanding of what we sow is what we reap, right? Is so we shall reap. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Well, lightning, a lightning strike. I've never been electrocuted, thank God, knock on wood. But even just even with, well, electricity, right? Illumination. If you were to, you know, put metal, put metal into a socket, you're most likely going to fry yourself, right? Same thing with putting your hand on the stove and you know, recognizing danger. And I talk about boundaries, and I mention the book Safe People, and really getting to understand you know, our interactions and connections with people, recognizing, you know, trauma patterns and statistics on mental health, and how our trauma can really alter our perceptions of things. And the illusion that we get caught up in and the behaviors that arise out of that because of our trauma woundings. But when we go unhealed and those woundings continue to remain active in the shadows, directing our choices, we could end up making wrong steps, wrong what's the word I'm looking for? Wrong assumptions about other selves, because we're not really, well, the truth of our authenticity is lost still, because we're not doing, you know, the really deep healing work that needs to be done for us to be able to really see the truth of ourselves and each other. But we have 35, the medicine wheel, right? Cycles, karmic patterns, breaking, you know, those karmic patterns, you know, for growth, not just for self, but essentially for all of humanity, right? As within, so without, as above, so below. If we're not balanced, and the understanding that being balanced isn't just about grounding yourself to earth, but it's about grounding yourself with everything around you. That includes other people. There's a beautiful reader that I follow on Instagram, Michelle Soltopia, right? I believe that's the name. And she mentioned this in one of her readings, and you know, what the comment that she made, that was that to ground isn't just about your having your feet on the ground, but having that mindful of awareness, that air energy. Okay, we have the upper world. Otherwise, she's like, you're just like flailing in the wind. If you're not fully grounded, you're just waving in the wind. And it made me, well, it made me and my piggies giggle, but she had a point, and it made total sense. Anyways, okay, so that's okay. That's then we have mindful, right? Mindfulness. And the representation here of the of a witch and her familiar. And to me, that speaks about the, you know, also we have a new moon in Scorpio today. But we have the individual. And the message that came up for me in this is mind your magic. Now, it also triggered a thought for me that I remember a friend, when I talk about being stuck in a spiritual void, if you will, okay? And this friend is so adamant that, like, avoids me like the plague, but will still call on my birthday or message me on my birthday, but I don't hear from her any other time. And so adamant about her views on spirituality. Well, as far as she's concerned, she's not religious. Okay, well, anyways. But according to her, the Bible is God's word, and solely God's word. That would be incorrect, as I worked in a Christian bookstore. But no matter what I say, she's very adamant about what she considers herself to know. Anyways, but it also, the idea of the one thing that keeps registering in my head about this friend is the fact that always talks about there is a scripture in the Bible that talks about witchcraft and the practicing of witchcraft. And okay, but, and I say but because the practice of magic isn't evil. It's the same way as I consider the book, meaning the Bible, tarot cards. A weapon is only a weapon when the user is wielding it as such. Otherwise, it is just simply whatever it is in that present moment. So, and it's not just about, because you don't have to be practicing witchcraft or pagan or whatever. You don't have to be any of those things. You just have to be an individual living a human experience and your intent and will upon another. Whatever you do for selfish gain, whatever you do with the intent of diminishing the self-worth of another person, karma has a way of showing you. But you aren't always privy to when that happens. And if you recall in a previous video, I spoke about Psalm chapter 90 to 106 as a Bible reader. And as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, certain things are happening naturally as everything is shifting. And I talk about the concept of the fall of Pharaoh and how, well, if you read Psalm 90 to 106 and, as I had mentioned, watch Testament, the story of Moses, piece it together and view it with the lens of present day, what do you see happening in right now in our world? The uproar of everything. The overthrow of Hollywood, things like that. When you're doing things for selfish gain and you are embodying the spirit of Pharaoh, what happens to Pharaoh? We all have our narcissistic traits. It's just part of our human existence, right? We our shadow and light, the yin and yang of our self, and what we choose to adhere to when we're doing things for ourselves, because we need to fill our own cups and make sure that is secure, right? And the universe, God, whatever you choose to call it, has a way of rectifying our wrongs. When that happens, isn't necessarily known to us. It happens in divine timing. And if you want to understand a good lesson on divine timing and what that really means, I suggest you go check out the TV series Manifest, which is on Netflix. Still streaming on Netflix. That was originally on cable TV series, and then it got abruptly canceled, and then Netflix picked it up. So go check that out. Okay? Alright. So, mindful. Okay. On top of that, friends. Using the Friends Oracle deck. The role of a lifetime. The masks we wear. Success born out of selfish or evil intent only lasts for so long. Before it's to come crumbling down. So we always want to put our best selves forward with the greatest and highest intent for self and others equally balanced. Now, obviously, living a human experience, none of us are perfect. We're perfectly imperfect, right? And that's the lesson of life. And when wrong is done to us, when we've endured injustice, trauma, and things like that can be breaking to the spirit. We put on masks in order to shield ourselves And when you do that for generations and you do that over time, these masks become so embedded into our bloodlines that the lines of morality gets blurred and miscued, if you will. But with the understanding of the law of karma, what is done in the darkness will always come to light. When you're living inauthentically, you pay the price. We all do. Nobody is above law of no. So we always want to be mindful of how we appear to be, how we insert ourselves into the world, how we interact with one another. Always wanting to do that with the utmost integrity, highest vibration for self and others. But how to do that in a healthy manner is what we go through life learning. Okay. Well, with the lightning, and then we have dollhouse. And to me, this speaks to the idea, well, the saying that comes straight to mind is, when you live in a glass house, you do not throw stones at other people. You will end up breaking your own damn house. So stop doing that. Okay. Oh, and spirit. Right? So, the trauma that we inflict upon others when we don't do the healing work and perpetuate that cycle, right? We'll continue to perpetuate the cycle until we learn either way. So, if we can wake up and learn the lesson sooner without the hand of the almighty universe, the softer the landing, if you will. Okay. And then we got the medicine wheel. Focus. So what we're putting our mind and energy to, are we doing it for the right or wrong reasons? Are we doing it for selfish gain, or are we doing it for our greatest and highest goodness of self and others equally? And then we have the couch. So what we focus our attention to, what we absorb, what we digest If we put out toxicity, it returns back to us. If we put out positive energy, that will eventually return to us as well. And so you want a continuous, healthy balance, if you will, of positive and negative going in and coming out. Right? Fair? Soulful. Upper world. So again, about raising our frequency and our vibrations, right? Bringing that other part of that grounding that is needed for humanity's balance. We have an owl, the wisdom. With a bumblebee, they pollinate. Let's pollinate wisdom for all of our greatest and highest good. The idea that we are all learning, all growing, and all helping each other to heal. And the brides. That feminine wisdom, that Mother Gaia, divine feminine energy, the nurturing, the empathy, the kindness, that nurturing energy. That seems to be missing from humanity for such a long time because we've been living in a neurotypical patriarchal society. And our feminine energies have been off balance for such a long time. And needing to be able to bring that back into harmony for all of our greatest and highest good. Because as I am human, you are too. Right? We are all love. And so with that being said, I also wanted to show off this book because I just feel like the timing of everything is just perfect. And since I've been reading and diving into tarot, I've been a huge fan of Chrisanne Donnelly's work. She is on the West Coast and is a fellow Canadian, as am I. And so that means a lot to me. And I just have been super excited for her, for when I learned that she was, because I follow her on Instagram, and when I learned that she was creating this book, which I believe first came out in a different language. I don't remember what the language was. And so when she announced that it was coming out in English, I'm like, oh my God, yay. And so, you know, this just excites me to no end. From spreads to And I'm not really a spread person per se, but just flipping through this, light work, shadow work, right? It's that yin and yang balanced flow and understanding of our identity, our whole identity, right? As I said, we can only really meet each other as deeply as we're willing to meet ourselves. And if you're not willing to do that deep dive into understanding self, how are you going to truly be empathetic and understanding and reciprocate that unconditional, high vibrational love that we all are and are deserving of? Trauma takes away from that. And so, finding that balance and why I always talk about therapy and the combination and that I have found so beneficial, combining that with tarot, and this just being, I couldn't be more proud and pleased with a tarot book. Although, but you know what? That's not to say there aren't other really good tarot books, like the Wisdom of Pooh Tarot, and the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle. All of these have great guidebooks. Deviant Moon. I have the big tabletop book, and it's funny because Deviant Moon wasn't a deck at first that I was actually I found appealing, but it later grew on me, and because I kept seeing it everywhere, and then when I actually committed myself to working with that deck, I was blown away by the book. So that the tabletop big guidebook, and so I am super impressed with this, and I can't wait to dive into it when I do start working with the Light Seers. Well, actually, all of Chris Ann's decks, because I have them all, and yeah. So this is amazing, and of course, getting it on All Saints Day when it just released on Halloween, basically at the crack of dawn, if you will, because Amazon sure does deliver early nowadays. Yeah. Thank you so much to Chris Ann for creating this deck. Yeah. Absolutely. I love this. And it's weird. It's deceiving because I thought this book was going to be bigger, but then it didn't look bigger when I was seeing it, when Chris Ann was showing it. But then, I don't know, the picture on Amazon just made the book look way bigger than I expected. So, but I'm happy with the size. And the layout and everything. it's got that sort of textbook journally kind of feel to it, and that's always I find that always very appealing. We have questions for the seer. We, you know, these journaling prompts and stuff like that. I'm all about that. You know, and that opportunity for self-reflection, right? You know, as I always say, we're in a global mental health crisis, and the accessibility and opportunities for those, you know, struggling is not enough. It's not enough. Society is not putting enough money into the important things, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that just gets wasted, and we are the creators of money. We invented it. So how is there an imbalance? How are people poor? Why are people even poor? Why are there people living on the street? What? And we're okay with that? When you haven't walked a mile in someone else's shoes, you don't know what they've lived through. So you always want to be mindful of what you think, say, and do. When you live in a glass house, do not throw stones. You just might throw a stone that not only will break down your house, but might hit the wrong person. And the karma that is meant to return to you may not be at all what you are expecting. So you always, as I said, mind your magic. Be mindful. Mind your magic. Be demure. And with all that being said, I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, please leave me 3 hearts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated when I post my next video. The support is very much welcomed and appreciated. Humbly, I thank you. I am love, and so are you. As I see myself as human, I know you are too. So as I leave you with this all today, take what you will from the messages, and take care of yourself and support each other. And while you're at it, don't forget about me too. I love you, and until next time, always live, listen, and learn. Bye.
Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. No matter what